everybody, welcome back to Cedar Creek Homestead at Cheyenne. I hope everyone has had a great weekend. It's Monday, of course. It's warm outside. Here it's sunny and probably around almost 80 degrees. It's getting warmer, and I'll be honest with you, I am dreading this heat. But with all of this heat comes garden season, and things are kicking off and getting started. And I'm sorry if you hear all the dogs in the background. I'm outside, and so they think that they need to bark at me. Anyway, today, the other day I was out here going through all these little buckets that you see here, and I've got my different kind of herbs, cilantro, parsley, rosemary. There's some onions over here planted in one of these tubs. And the other day I was out here harvesting some of this cilantro to put up and dry for Blade to put in a jar, so he had dry cilantro. And I was looking, and I noticed in my parsley tub was what I thought was tomatoes. So I was standing right here watering, putting bucket of water for the dogs, and I said, Blade, reach down there and grab one of the leaves and see if it smells like a tomato. So he pinched it off and he smelled it. He said, yeah, and I was like, sure enough, there's tomatoes in this bucket. So last year, I think after we went back through our records, we decided that in these buckets were Cherokee purple tomatoes. So to my best knowledge, Cherokee purple is what I figure is in that tub. So that day I went ahead and I transplanted three of them, and I will show you guys what they look like. Right now the ones that are in there are littler ones, and so I will probably pull them out and put them in something a little smaller than one of these tubs. I'll show you the other three that I pulled, and they were pretty decent sized tomatoes. So these three tomato plants that you see here are the three tomato plants that I transplanted the other day. That one down there on the end is going through a little bit of transplant shock, but it doesn't look as bad as I thought it would. But here are the other two that I planted. Like I said, we're almost positive that these are going to be Cherokee purple tomatoes, which is some of our favorite slicing tomatoes. So I got some de-weeding to do to ignore all my weeds. But here is my parsley that I had. Here is a little volunteer tomato. And there's another one right here. Actually, there's two there. I thought that was one, but that's two different plants right there. So I'm going to pull these little tomatoes, and I'm going to not up pot them, but put them in something a little different. But so what happened, I figure, is last year when we let these tomato plants die out, we just left them in this bucket, and when all the tomatoes that had rotted, we let them go, and when they fell into this bucket, the seeds replanted themselves. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna pull this out of here. I'm gonna pull these. I don't know what that was. But I'm going to pull these little babies out of here. Okay, so these are the two little bitties. Whoop, the little bitties that I pulled out of there. And this is the other not so bad size of a tomato that I pulled out. I will probably go put this in a container. And so I'll take y'all along with me. But for now, I'm going to plant these two babies into two of these to try to get them bigger before I decide to put them anywhere. So I'm probably going to bury these two probably right about in here, and all of this will begin to root and give it a better root system. I don't know about you guys, but me and Mom are excited for gardening season. Now that it's kicking off this year, we are planting a buku of tomatoes, paste tomatoes, slicing tomatoes. One of our big goals was to make enough things that we didn't have to go to the grocery store as much as what we do now. So I guarantee you by the end of the gardening season, we have tomatoes running out of our ears. We have peppers like crazy for different things. Pickled pepperoncinis, pickled cherry peppers, cowboy candy, all you know, all the different things that we use that we would buy. Anything we can make. Our goal this year is to make it instead of having to buy it. So we have plants running out of our ears like crazy. So there's these two babies. And in just a minute, I will water these in and I'll let these sit out and get a little bit bigger, and then I'll decide, and I'll probably give them a couple weeks and I'll decide where I want to put them from there, depending on how fast they grow. It may not take them that long. But, and when I decide to put where I want to put them and I decide that they're big enough, I will show you where I put these guys. Let me find something to mark these, because for some reason, I think these are recycled ones. They say Roma, and I don't want to get them confused. They're not Roma, they're Cherokee purples. So let me find a Sharpie. Well, I can't find a Sharpie, so I will, when I get done planting this guy, I will take it to the front porch. I'll bring it with me and I'll write on it, and we'll see how they do. Hopefully, I think I'm going to plant this one down just a little bit further. I think maybe he needs a little more support. There we go. And he should pop on out of there, and we should have tomatoes off of him before too long, before the end of the summer anyway. Let me decide where I'm gonna put this little guy. I just come out here and decided, hey, let's plant these tomatoes, pull them and plant them. So I thought I'd take y'all guys along with me. So let's go plant this little guy. I don't know if that is a deep of enough bucket by itself. No. Now I'm curious as to where I want to plant this little guy. What's this? This has water in it, so I'm gonna have to dump it, but let's put this guy in one of these. So hopefully that's big enough. Okay, guys. Whoop. I dropped him. I've got 2 buckets of dirt here, and so I'll just take these buckets of dirt and fill them. This is the pot that I decided to put him in, but I'll just take this bucket of dirt. Oh, there's a pepper plant there that wilted, so we'll pull him on out of there, toss him over there, and fill this planter up with dirt and plant this little guy in here. Last year, me and Mom in our tubs over there, we planted 2 in each tub, and they did not do as well as we had hoped. So this year, when we went to plant tomatoes in our tubs, we decided that 1 per tub would be sufficient. So that's what we're going with, is 1 tomato plant per tub. So I'm gonna pinch this little leaf off right here, toss it, and I will probably bury him to about probably about like that. And he'll root and make himself a little root system. And I'll show you guys him. Alright guys, here's our little Cherokee purple tomato plant, and we'll show you Here is our little Cherokee purple tomato plant, and we will show you progress as this little guy grows and show you what he does and all the little tomatoes that he produces for us. So, as far as I know, so far, so far that is our only volunteer tomato plants. So, we've got those volunteer tomato plants so far planted and on their way to a good root system. I will water this tomato plant, and I will water those other 2 tomato plants in and mark out where they'll say Roma and put Cherokee purple. But around here, we don't let no volunteer plant that is useful to us go wasted. So now we've got 6 little volunteer tomatoes, and so far that is all that's come up. But that's 6 tomatoes that 6 extra tomatoes that we have. And Cherokee purple are some of Mom's favorite slicing tomatoes. To me, and she said she did the same thing, it took me a long time to realize that eating a tomato that wasn't red was okay. I had always been raised that tomatoes were red, and they were bright red, and when they were bright red, they were ready to eat. So when it comes to a different colored tomato, I was kind of like real questionable about them. But Cherokee purples are very good tomatoes. They have become some of our favorite. The boys absolutely love them. Last year, when it come harvesting tomato season at the end of the year, the boys, Raro especially, ate up an entire tomato within 5 minutes. To a point, he wanted another one, but I had to take them from him because the acid from the tomato was turning his face red. So I'm gonna let this hot water run out of this real quick, and I'm going to gently water these little tomatoes. They may, they're going to go through a little transplant shock. Hopefully they come out of it. We'll find out. I water them in, and I'll water them again in the morning and see what they do. But hopefully, oh, I got really close to my face. I'm sorry, guys. Hopefully they snap out of it. I'm going to put these on the front porch where they get some shade, because if not, the blistering heat will ruin them. I'm going to put them on the little table right here. And then I'm going to take the water hose, and I'm going to go right over here and water this other one in that I planted in the pot. And like I said, they're probably going to go through a little transplant shock, but they should come out of it. Hopefully they come out of it. But they should be all right. So we're going to water this little guy in. I'm going to give him a pretty good watering, and all of his little soil around him. All right, that should be good, and we will see how that little guy does. Hopefully he does for good. I will probably move him out of the sun real quick, because I don't want him to bake in the afternoon heat, because the sun sets over here on the front side of the house. And this is directly under our carport. And so in the summertime, this gets extremely hot under here. And so anything under here will bake. Set you guys there, and I'm gonna move this little guy over here. Okay guys, that is all I have for you today. I just wanted to show you guys the little volunteer tomato plants that we have. Like I said, oh, I gotta rock on my shoe. Like I said, volunteer plants that that could be put to our use do not go wasted around here. So we planted those, and hopefully we get good a good crop out of them. I hope you enjoyed this video of me showing you how I was taught to transplant volunteer tomato plants. So until next time, guys, we love you, we really do. Keep looking well to the ways of your household, and until next time, we're gone.